Hello and welcome back to this episode of the Engage 8 podcast. I am Josh and my co-host Mike. As promised, on this episode, we have our NBA Finals and NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Neither series have started so far as we're recording here on Wednesday morning, so we will preview both of those series for you guys. But before we get into that, a good amount of studs and duds for this week. I have a couple studs and one dud, so I'll do my stud first, and you can do yours, and then I'll clean up with my last one here. But my first stud is my Kentucky Wildcats and Mark Pope because Otega Oweh is coming back to Lexington. He was testing the NBA waters. It looked like he was going to submit his name into the draft, keep his name in the draft, and probably go in the late first round, early second round. But he is going to be coming back to Lexington. He was an All-SEC player last year. He's probably going to be an All-American this year, a potential National Player of the Year winner. He was the leading scorer for Kentucky last season. He had a streak where he scored 15 plus points for almost every single game last year. He was completely dominant. And he's coming to a Kentucky team where there's a few returning players. You also have the number 11 recruiting class, the number 5 transfer portal in the country. This Kentucky team is going to be really good. They're probably going to be preseason top 10, maybe top 5. We'll see how high they finish, but Mark Pope, he overachieved in year one, building that roster in 2 months and made the Sweet 16 year two. He has a good amount of returners. He has a good transfer class, a good freshman class, and I expect him to continue to overachieve. And this year, the Sweet 16 is going to be the standard for him.
For my stud of the week, I have Oscar Piastri after winning the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona. Another win for him. He extends his lead in the Formula One standings ahead of his teammate Lando Norris. He now has a 10-point lead, 49-point lead for him over third place Max Verstappen. The two McLarens have dominated so far this season. But that's now Piastri's seventh win in Formula One. He's only one behind Charles Leclerc, who's won eight, which is absurd. He's only been in 55 Grand Prix. His teammate Lando Norris, I think, only has 6 wins in F1, so he is ahead of him now. A lot of it is to do with the McLaren car being so much better than every other car on the grid, but he still has been very good this season. Him and his teammate, McLaren is absolutely dominating the Constructors' Championship. I think um, they're up by over like 150 points, or almost 200 points, which is absurd to be that high, much ahead this early in the season. So we'll see if he can continue it between him and his teammate. Last year, Lando Norris was the better driver. This year, it's been Piastri so far. We'll see if he can continue it, or if Max Verstappen can catch up, which is looking more and more unlikely. So I got Piastri as my stud.
My other stud of the week, do you know who the big dumper is?
No.
Cal Raleigh,
Oh,
the
yeah.
catcher for the Mariners. He's been on an
Yes.
absolute tear to start this season for the MLB. We haven't talked much baseball so far this season, I feel like this is a good time to start. He has 23 home runs, which is tied for the MLB league. He's a career high 264 batting average, 637 slugging for him. He's on pace to hit 64 home runs this season, which would obviously break the AL record that Judge set a couple years ago at 62, I believe. But yeah, Cal Raleigh been an absolute demon. Catchers in this league have really not been hitting home runs ever. His 23 home runs in the team's first 58 games are four more than any other catcher in MLB history. Sarah Langs from MLB.com pointed that one out. So that is absolutely absurd. He's been on a tear. I feel like we got to acknowledge that. And I mean, you got to love a power hitting catcher.
Yeah, and especially playing in Seattle, it's a lot harder to hit a home run in Seattle than it is in most places with all the terrain. He also, I saw he hit his 23rd home run in the MLB, posted pretty much like Cal Raleigh hits his 23rd home run to tie the lead. And then a couple days prior, you got Shohei Ohtani in like a 25-2 game, hits a home run, and they get a tweet in all caps for Ohtani hitting a home run. Um, but
Double
that
standard.
is, yeah. He's been great. So has Shohei. He's also been great. He's been finally throwing live batting practice. Um, for my dud of the week, I had the tweet ready and now I lost it. But my dud of the week is essentially winning NBA Head Coach of the Year. You win that award, you are likely to lose your job in a few years. Tom Thibodeau was fired yesterday. He'd won Head Coach of the Year in. I can't believe I lost this tweet. I had it ready to go, and now it's just
Did he win it this year?
disappeared. No, I don't think he won it this year.
Or no, this year
But
was the Thunder coach, I think.
yes, and I think he might have won it last year too.
Yeah, that Tibbs won it semi recently though.
Yes, because Dagnall won it this season. Or no, this season was Kenny Atkinson.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
But head coach of the year, we have Mike Brown a couple years ago won it. He was fired this year as well.
Monty
Monty
Williams.
Williams fired. Tom Thibodeau won it in 2020, 2021. He was fired. Nick Nurse won it in 2019, 2020 with the Raptors. He was fired from the Raptors. Mike Budenholzer, your guy, 2018, 2019. He was
Not
been
my guy.
fired a few times now. Dwayne Casey, 17, 18, fired. Mike D'Antoni, 16, 17, fired. Steve Kerr, he's still outside of the last two with Dagnall and Atkinson. He's the last one. So it's all goes all the way back to 2015, 16 now. That still is a head coach. Before that, there's a lot of older guys and Mike Budenholzer again. So winning the head coach of the year, while it's a good thing for your team, it tends to, I guess, raise expectations and hurt you in the long run. But we'll see how it goes for those two coaches now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you think they should have fired Tibbs? Do you agree?
I don't think they should have done.
No. Did you know that the story about Tibbs with his fiance?
I have not, no.
So when he was early in his basketball coaching career, he was engaged to be married, and 6 weeks before the wedding, he called off the wedding because he said he needed to focus on basketball. Since then, he's yet to be, he doesn't have kids, he's not married, he hasn't been in relationships. He ended his soon to be marriage to become a basketball coach. Tibbs' life is basketball.
Yeah,
And I fully expect him to get another head coaching job somewhere. I don't think it'll be the Suns. It won't be the Suns. So he
I think
probably
that'd
is,
be a great hire for you.
yeah, hire another coach who's had success, but and then immediately gets fired with KD and Book. I'm good. We need to get a young guy in there.
I disagree. I think that'd be great for you.
I do love Tibbs. He's one of my favorite coaches in basketball. He's not going to get a head coaching job this year, unfortunately, because unless the Suns pull a shocker, but I don't see that happening. Ishbia is going to get somebody who has connections to MSU, and I don't think Tibbs does. So, yeah, he's not going to get a head coaching job this year. He'll probably be an assistant or an analyst somewhere, but I expect next year, next coaching cycle, he will for sure get a job. He hasn't had any championship success, but he was successful in Chicago. He was successful in Minnesota. He was successful in New York. Cat has got him fired twice now in his career, which is crazy. I'm with you. I don't think they should have fired him. You make your first Eastern Conference Finals in however many years, and then you fire your head coach. I get that's not the standard isn't making the Eastern Conference Finals, but at the same time, like, is someone really going to come in there and do a better job than Tibbs did this year with this roster? I don't know.
Yeah. And those last two teams to fire him, Minnesota and Chicago, the seasons after they fired him were not good at all. A
Yeah,
few seasons after Minnesota struggled, Chicago struggled and has struggled since firing Thibodeau. He led the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. Been a very long time. In four of his five seasons with the Knicks, he has 50 plus wins for the first time since the 1990s. So he brought them back to a spot that they hadn't been in a long time, and he gets fired for it. So we'll see if someone else can get the most out of Karl Anthony Towns. It sounds like there was a little bit of issues there with coaches not being happy with his defensive energy or output. So we'll see if that was part of it. But, I just don't think they should have fired him.
there's no less job security in America than NBA head coach.
No,
They fire you for nothing, but at the same time, there's dudes in the NBA who just you
don't
don't
get
even
fired.
know who are just coaches forever.
I
Like,
mean, well, Billy Donovan's been the head coach for the Bulls. He's now the third longest tenured coach in the NBA,
yes, which is
which is
crazy.
absurd because he's had, what, one good season?
Yes, and when he got hired in 2020 or something.
Yeah, well, 2019 maybe.
But yeah, regardless, it's crazy. I don't think Tibbs should have been fired. But my dud of the week was the most recent UFC fight night, the Macy Barber versus Aaron Blanchfield main event. Macy Barber missed weight for this fight, so obviously her purse would have been given to Aaron Blanchfield. But before the fight, like minutes before they walked out, allegedly Macy Barber had a seizure in the locker room and she couldn't go out to fight. Aaron Blanchfield was calling her unprofessional and whatnot after the in the press conference. I want to say post fight, but there was no fight post card. Women's MMA gets a lot of heat. People do not like it. Whenever there's a women's main event, people are hating. And for there to be a women's main event that doesn't even happen after you waited all night for it to happen, people are uproaring and it sucks. I think this would have been a good fight, but at the same time, I think this is kind of good for the UFC and these two because now that they're beefing over a seizure and missed weight, that it increases the watchability for this when this fight actually does happen. You want to see it happen now.
Yeah, I didn't watch this fight card. Kind of glad I didn't, but there is a big event coming up this weekend now. Sean
Yep.
O'Malley, Merab, who's Kayla Harrison fighting?
Yeah, Pena.
Yeah, Juliana Pena. So good card this weekend. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, no, me too. I am. Who do you got? We'll talk about it next week when it
Uh,
happens, but
I think I have Merab winning. I want Sean O'Malley to win, but I think Merab finds a way to get it done. But Sean O'Malley seems locked in.
I know he does.
They asked him what he needs to do to win the fight, and you know what he said?
What?
He said he needs to win the first 3 rounds, and then after that, he needs to win the next 2 rounds.
I like that. Did you see
I
all
think that's a
the
good strategy.
did you see the list of things he gave up?
No.
He gave up I don't know what I want to say on here. He gave up weed, drinking, and a couple other things that you can look up on your own that I'm not gonna say.
Hey, he's locked in.
Yeah, he's completely locked in. I'm
He said he
excited for
was
that
too
guy.
enamored by like the sugar aura or
Yeah, I
whatever
saw that. Yeah. So
that he got caught up. So maybe he really was, but if he comes back and wins this fight, that puts him in a good spot.
yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think he has a better chance than people are giving him, though. He's
I
been
think he has
off
a
for so
chance. I
long
just
now.
think Merab is like he's just he's a machine.
He is. He's a machine. O'Malley did have a hip injury going into that last fight, which I mean, obviously people have injuries. It is what it is. But he did have surgery, and apparently he's healed now. So maybe that makes a difference. We'll see. People forget that at the end of the Noche fight, Merab was hurt.
Yeah,
O'Malley landed that body kick, and Merab was hurt. So I don't know. I feel like
they did.
people are writing off Sean O'Malley a little bit.
They did announce another Noche, I'm pretty sure.
They did, but they got rid of it.
Oh,
It was UFC Noche in Mexico City, and apparently the Mexico City arena that they were building for it got they stopped building it for some reason. So now they're moving it
oh,
to Dallas or Houston, and it's no longer UFC Noche. Now it's a fight night
oh.
or
That's
some shit
sad.
like that. Or it might still be Noche, but it's not a pay-per-view. It's a fight night now. It's something like that. So
That's
unfortunately,
tough.
we do not get the Mexico City card. That would have been sick, and I guarantee you, Brandon Moreno would be on that card.
Yeah. I have one more stud that I had kind of forgotten about that I'm just gonna mention here
Yep.
real quick. I don't know if you've seen all of it, but JJ McCarthy, man, has broken the OTA record of passing touchdowns.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Congratulations to JJ McCarthy on the OTA passing touchdown record of 36, past Tom Brady for the most OTA touchdowns in a single
Is that
season.
a real stat?
No,
Oh, I
that's
thought
just that's just what people are saying.
you stepped into that one. When you said he broke Tom Brady's record, I was like, hold on. But
Yeah,
no,
that
that's hilarious.
I've just been seeing that all over the timeline.
Are you a JJ McCarthy? No, you're not. You're not a
No,
JJ McCarthy
I'm
believer.
not a JJ McCarthy believer at all. But if
Um,
there's anybody that'll do it, it'll be the Vikings. So
of course, yeah, it'll be Kevin O'Connell. Staying in that division though, big news this week. Frank Ragnow announces his retirement after just 7 seasons in the NFL. This, as much as I want to pretend it doesn't hurt the Lions that much, it absolutely does. The Lions' offensive DVOA is completely different when he's in the lineup and he's not. I think they're consistently top three in DVOA when he's there. They move to like the 10, 11, 12 range when he's not there. It's a very, very, very big problem for the Lions, him not being there. He's played through so many injuries in his career. He's constantly like, I mean, it was what last year or the year before he played through a torn pec all year, which is just absurd. He played through a torn rotator cuff at one point a couple years ago. He's an absolute stud, man. I hate to see him retire. It's probably best for him though because the injuries were adding up. He's an absolute warrior. I love Ragnar. He's one of my favorite Lions of all time. As for the Lions, though, they did draft two interior offensive linemen in Tate Ratledge and Miles Frazier in the draft. They have Christian Mahogany coming up. He's a second year guard who I think is going to be very good. And then Graham Glasgow is a veteran in there. So they're probably either going to run Glasgow at center and then Ratledge and Mahogany at guard or Ratledge at center and Glasgow and Mahogany at guard. But they're going to have to shuffle some things around. Decker's getting a little bit older. Panay Sewell's on his own on the right side. It's going to be interesting to see how this Lions offensive line plays out. So we'll see if it doesn't play out and they can't get pushed from the interior, they're going to be in trouble. But I'm confident the Lions will figure it out.
Yeah, I think they'll figure it out. They have had a lot of losses now, including their two coaches and Glasgow, but I think they'll figure out whether it's Mahogany or Tate Ratledge or the rookie. I think they'll figure it out. They have great running backs as well. The running backs will still perform, and as long as they can protect enough for Jared Goff, I think they'll still be fine. But a lot of teams in this division are coming up, and we'll see if they can kind of keep up with them now.
And the biggest thing with Ragnow not being there is he's so important for the development of these guards because these guards, the way he plays, the guards usually help the center in the NFL. It's just how it works. The guards help the center. And when the center is so good and they can get their own push, the guards are able to kind of do their own thing and they're not forced to do as much. So when you have young rookie guards or an aging guard in Glasgow, it's important to have a Ragnow up in the middle. And without him there, it's a little bit concerning for the guards. But we'll see. I'm still confident.
Yeah, I'm still confident in them.
But we'll move on now to the NBA Finals. Here we go. Pacers Thunder in the NBA Finals. The Thunder finish off the Timberwolves in 5 games. The Pacers go to 6 games, get the Knicks out of there in game 6. The series, I think the Thunder are like minus 600 in the series. The Pacers are like plus 550 or something. It's an absolute insane spread. I think this is a very good matchup. As we talked about last week, I think the Knicks would have been a very easy matchup for the Thunder. I think they would have been able to get them out of there quick. They do very, very well against teams that have players that play iso ball. We saw it with Ant. We saw Jalen Brunson obviously is an iso ball player, and sometimes Cat is as well. So I think they would have done a great job of shutting down the Knicks. But the Pacers are not an iso ball team. They're the exact opposite. They get everybody involved. They're deep into their bench, as are the Thunder. I think the Pacers are just kind of a little bit worse defensively version of the Thunder, and they're a little bit better offensively. I uh I could see the series going either way. Honestly, the only way I don't see the series going is a Pacers early series win. I don't see that happening. I could see the Thunder winning this in 5 games. I could also see the Pacers winning this in 6 or 7 games. So I'm pretty torn on the series.
Yeah, I'm pretty torn in the series as well. I do think the Thunder win the series. I would like the Pacers to hold tough, stick in the series as long as they can, and I the later into the series gets, I think the more the Pacers would build confidence, even if they have to go to Oklahoma City to play. I still think the longer the series go, they would gain confidence, but it's really going to come down to how this Pacers offense versus that has been fantastic versus the Thunder defense, which has been fantastic. We've talked about it all playoffs how good the Thunder defenders are, specifically like the guards, Caruso, Wallace, Dort. They have a lot of guys they're going to be able to throw at Tyrese Halliburton, who's been very good at not turning the ball over. Can he do that against this Thunder team, though, that turns team over at just such a high rate? We saw it all series long last round. And that's really it's going to come down to how good Tyrese Halliburton can play, and if he can find a way to win this series, he's no matter what a superstar. They can't really deny him.
No, I mean, you're talking about Halliburton, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a at least a star, regardless. Probably
yeah, he's a
leading.
star no matter what. I
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
believe that's even a question. And people are trying to say he's not a star. It's
it,
just
it
absurd.
it really just depends on. And we did the superstar debate about a year ago on here, and maybe after the finals we'll revisit that. Are you one of the people that thinks there's only like 4 or 5 superstars in the league?
No, I
Because
think there's more than four
there's
or
the people who are
five.
like there's like KD, Giannis, Jokic.
No, yeah, there's definitely more than five.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I
like
think
saying
there's more
then
than that.
Brunson can't be a superstar.
Would you have Brunson over Halliburton?
Probably.
It's tough. That one's a tough one
I think I'd have Brunson over him, but
because Halliburton's a
I
lot
don't
better
think they're too
defensively,
far off.
better passing.
Yeah. But Brunson's just a better scorer in general. Brunson creates his own shot way better than Tyrese Halliburton can.
Agreed, but where is Halliburton a liability? Because Brunson's a liability on defense.
I mean, Halliburton's not the best defender.
Yeah, but he's big and he has
He's
long
good. I mean,
arms.
yeah, that helps him, but I still think offensively, you got to give it to Brunson. I mean, Brunson almost averaged 30 in that series, I believe. Yeah, he averaged
Yeah, he broke
29.7
some
in that
playoff
last series.
records for points.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to the free throw line at a crazy clip. He's very clutch, but so is Halliburton. They both have
Yeah.
that clutch factor. When you look at the Knicks roster, they only had two guys who had a positive plus minus, and it was Brunson and OG Anunoby were the only two guys.
Cat was negative
No, wait a minute.
because I feel like Cat
All
had a
the
decent series.
all the stats I just listed were incorrect. For some reason, they gave me the 2024 East semifinals instead of the 2025
Oh
semifinals.
no.
I was
No, no, no.
well only 29. I was only wrong on one stat with 29.7.
God, do you have anything
It's
else?
crazy that why would that even pop up? That was a year ago.
That's so funny. You just read the stats from the last series. I mean, they lost both,
Yeah,
so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
ridiculous. NBA.com. Actually, Tyrese Halliburton, they actually almost averaged the exact same that they did in the last playoff series, which is very interesting.
It
Tyrese
is
Halliburton
interesting.
still only averaged 21 points per game. Jalen Brunson averaged 30.7, an increase. The only positive player for the Knicks, ironically, was Karl Anthony Towns.
There you
And
go.
I mean Landry Shamet, but he played what, 13.2
Did
minutes
you
a
see
game, I
did
guess.
you see the Shamit minutes at the end of that game?
Yeah.
He had three straight threes to end the game when they
hmm
were done. That shit killed me,
Yeah.
bro.
That's
That
probably why
shit
he has a
killed me.
positive plus minus,
What's his plus minus?
like 5.3.
Oh, then that's it. That's it's for sure from that then.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But what was I gonna ask you? Oh yes. So that Halliburton shot in game one, where they go to overtime, the choke shot, it hits the rim, goes up above the backboard, comes back down and hits. If that shot doesn't go in, do the Knicks win the series?
I think they could win this series. Yeah, I think that was a defining point. But I mean, that's happened pretty. It's happened in every series for the Pacers. I mean, the first round, I think the Pacers would have won even if they
Didn't have
didn't
that
have the
comeback.
crazy
Yeah,
comeback. But
agreed.
we saw it against the Cavs, the crazy comeback. I think the Pacers still would have won that series if they
Agreed.
didn't have the comeback. So I guess it's game one and we don't know, but I think they still would have found a way to win the series. I think they were just a better team. They have way more weapons to throw at them than the Knicks.
That sets the
But
tone for the series,
it does
though.
set the tone. Yeah.
I think the Knicks win that series. I do. I think they win it if that shot doesn't go in. But I guess we'll
I don't
never
know.
know.
I think the Pacers would have found a way to get it done. I mean, Nemhard struggled early a little bit in the series. He only averaged 9.8 points per game in the series. He's going to have to be better in the finals for the I mean, the Pacers, if they want to win this finals, they're going to need pretty much all of their guys to play at the top level that they possibly can if they want to beat this Thunder team. Miles Turner had been struggling a little bit to shoot since I think the Cleveland round. He only had one game where he hit more than one three-pointer. He did though in game six. I'm pretty sure he hit two or three three-pointers. So he's gonna have to be able to shoot the ball and spread the floor. They're going to need their two wing guys, Nembhard and Neesmith, to shoot the ball very well. The corner threes are going to be a difference maker, but it's just they have so much depth and they need everyone to step up and have some big games. Thomas Bryant has been a weapon for them in the corner as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Do you know the Pacers road record in the regular season?
I feel like it has to be pretty decent
So they were 18 games above 500
total.
in the regular season total. Guess how many they were above 500 on the road?
I think I'm just gonna guess a high number like 12.
Zero.
Zero.
They were
Wow.
20 and 20 on the road this year in the regular season, and they were still able to get both games in Madison Square Garden and both games, or not both games in Cleveland, or no, did they win
Yeah.
both? I think they won both in Cleveland too, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a team that wasn't that good on the road in the regular season, and they've come it where it matters most and won on the road in the playoffs, which is very encouraging if you're a Pacers fan. The issue is the Thunder were 35 and 6 at home
hmm
this year in the regular season. They were extremely, extremely dominant. I don't think anybody in the world expects the Pacers to win both of these games in OKC. If they can win one, they're in a fantastic spot because they're
I
very good at
think
home as well.
I think they have to win one.
You don't think they can lose both?
I don't think so. I think they have to win one of the games in
Steal home court
OKC
advantage back.
because I think OKC is going to win one of the games in Indiana, and I think it's going to I hope it comes down to a three-game series to decide it.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be interesting, bro. This is two teams that go up and down the court, two fast-paced teams. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm picking the Thunder. I feel like a lot of people are going to pick the Thunder. Unfortunately, I am as well. I'm going to be rooting hard for the Pacers, regardless. I'm going to pick the Thunder in 6 games to win this series. I don't think it goes to seven. I think the Pacers can easily win two, but I just don't see them winning um, 3 games and forcing that to game seven. The Thunder are just too good of a team. They're too locked in defensively, and they have enough guys we've seen been able to make shots now. And as good as the Pacers have been offensively, they haven't shown a ton defensively. And I think that's how you got to stop a team like the Thunder. is just be dominant defensively and force them to miss shots because they're going to be dominant regardless on the defensive end. So I lean Thunder here. I'm going to say Thunder in six.
Yeah, it's a battle of the power of friendship. I hope the Pacers can get it done. I'm also going to be rooting for the Pacers, but I think the Thunder get it done as long as J-Dub's able to show up, Chet's able to show up and have a solid series. I think they get it done. SJ's gonna get his buckets regardless. So I'm also going with the Thunder to win the series. I think I'm gonna pick the Thunder in 6 games, but they I would
Way to
love
copy me,
nothing
bro.
more than a 7 game series.
Me too.
Um, and Pascal Siakam's also going to have to, for the Pacers, continue to be a weapon. But yeah, I have the Thunder in 6.
I mean, the first and second rounds of the NBA playoffs were great. The conference finals stunk. It was not a fun conference finals.
Well,
And
I would say half of it stunk. I'd say the Timberwolves Thunder series stunk. I think the
right,
Pacers,
right. Pacers Knicks was good. You're right. But the Thunder and Timberwolves was just such a bad series. Not a single game
yeah.
was close in that series. It kind of put a damper on the conference finals in general. But another playoffs that was have been very, very good. For the first time, we're gonna talk some Stanley Cup playoffs here as we have our final with the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. The rematch from last year's Stanley Cup final. The Oilers were not expected to be here. The Panthers were, by a decent amount of people, expected to be here. A big story here is Zach Hyman is out for the series against the Oilers, most likely. I don't
I did not
remember.
know that. Wow.
I don't remember exactly what injury it was, but it was in game four. I think he got hurt. I think it was in game four. Um, so yeah, that's a big injury for the Oilers as well. Panthers have been banged up, but they should be fairly healthy for this series. I of course am biased. I have a plus 700 future on the Panthers. I've had it this whole playoffs. I've been riding with the Panthers. I'm rocking with the boys from Florida. I think they're going to win this series, but the Oilers are arguably the hottest team right now in hockey. Like I said, people did not expect them to be here. They went and they struggled against the Kings early. The Kings took 2 games from them. They came back in that series, won. They won in round two against who did they win in round two against? Oh, the Knights. They cleaned up the Knights easily. And then they beat the Stars in 5 games. The Stars team who I thought was going to be
Yeah,
really,
they're on
really good
fire.
and was the cup favorite going into the playoffs. They dismantled that Stars team. So for that reason alone, I'm a little bit worried for my Panthers here. But Panthers are just such a physical team. They've been here before, third straight Stanley Cup appearance for them. I think they get it done. I will say that this is the third instance of a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals in back-to-back years. The, I'm trying to remember which one. One was Crosby and the Red Wings. He lost the first time against the Red Wings, won the second time. I forget who the other one was, but the team who lost the first one has won the second one both times. So technically, the Oilers, if the pattern remains, should win the series.
Yeah, and I saw a clip from a long time ago with I think it was Gretzky. I know Crosby did it too, where they did not touch the trophy for their conference, and then they lost the Stanley Cup Finals, and then the next year they decided to touch the trophy and then won the finals. That is what Connor McDavid did this season. I like the Panthers just I think as a team, they've been so dominant in the playoffs as well. They've had some games against Carolina specifically where they just went on a flurry and scored multiple goals in a very short span. And we've seen that with them. But this Edmonton team, they've continued to find ways to win, and they have this guy on their team that is destined to win a Stanley Cup and has been on fire throughout the playoffs. And
Yeah.
his name is Connor McDavid. He's the best player in hockey. It's not even close. Maybe the best player in sports in general. He's been great. The Edmonton also still has Corey Perry, who is still looking for his first cup. And if he could get that done here, that would be wild for him. But yeah, I go back and forth on this one. I'd like for Florida to win. And if Florida wins, they would also find themselves in, dare I say, maybe a dynasty territory, winning 2 cups, being to it 3 years in a row. But we'll have to see.
For the Oilers, the goalie play was a big concern for them going into the playoffs and early on in the playoffs. They have 2 goalies. They have Skinner and Pickard. Pickard is actually, weirdly enough, 6-0 in in the Stanley Cup playoffs so far. And hold on, what is the record for Skinner? He's 6-4, but it looks like Skinner is their guy. He's a better goals allowed per game guy, better save percentage guy, just a tick over 90%. So he's been really, really good for them. He's going to be their main goalie in this series. Like I said, that's been the only concern for them, especially last year. It was, are Draisaitl and McDavid going to get some support, and are they going to have some goalie play? So far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, they have had goalie play and they've had a good amount of support. So it seems like if there's going to be a time where this Draisaitl McDavid core wins a Stanley Cup, it's going to be with the way this team is playing right now. But the Panthers, man, they're road warriors. They're really, really good at home. They're super physical. They wear you down. And I'm picking my Panthers to win the Stanley Cup and cash my plus 700 future for me.
How many games?
Give me the Panthers in seven.
Ooh, so you're thinking 2 years in a row they go to a game seven.
Yep.
Obviously, last year they went to game seven after the Panthers had a 3-0 lead in the Stanley Cup, blew it, and Edmonton came all the way back 3-3 went to game seven, and the Panthers won it at home. Maybe that happens again. We'll have to see. I'm going back and forth on this one. I I would kind of like the Panthers to win, keep it in America, but
Yeah.
1993 was the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. That's 32 years ago. I think I'm going to pick Edmonton to get it done and Connor McDavid to finally lift Lord Stanley. So I'm going to go Edmonton in seven.
Wow. All right, we're good. We're due for a good series. Game one of that will be tonight. So when this pod comes out, game one will have already happened. But unless you got
I
anything else,
I
I think
could
that's it.
I mean I could still see Florida dominating and I would prefer Florida winning, but I'm picking Edmonton in seven. I think it's just destined.
Yeah, I'm with you. Quick announcement before we sign off here. The new Answer 8 episode will be out this weekend. We have the standings. We will put those on the screen during the Answer 8 episode. We have two 0-1 teams facing off this weekend. It will be me and Honk, former co-host of the pod, versus Mike and Sarb, two 0-1 teams ranked sixth and I believe ninth in our Answer 8 ranking so far. So look forward to that matchup this weekend. Thank you guys all for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Hit all the links in our description for TikTok, Spotify, social media, and all that good stuff. And we'll see everybody next week.